Okay. Way better, family. I don't know what that was, but the echo was crazy. All right, so I don't even know if y'all gonna come back. If not, we'll get it done in the clubhouse. I just couldn't take that. That was like I was about to go crazy with that. Um, that that microphone echo, whatever the hell that was. So we'll see if we get y'all back. If not, then I know what time it is. I somehow loaded up twice, and then I couldn't get the second one going. Yeah, it sound way better. I loaded up somehow. I loaded up twice, and I couldn't get the other one to leave. I don't know what that was all about. So I messed up the thing because at one point, it was starting to be quite a few people coming in here. I think they got tired of the echo shit. So that's on me. But I really, that's fucked up because I wanted to I kind of feel like we should just go in the room now. I don't know. Hold on. I'm finna go get this clip. Give me 1 second. Wait a minute. Share screen. Alright. Here it comes. History. Is that okay, here we go. Wait a minute, what the hell? Is this the I opened two. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Here you go.
$1 billion through the manipulation. What if I told you these ridiculous ads?
Did you say I'll feel better smoking Philip Morris?
Yes, you'll feel better.
Are not all that different from these ads.
Now, every box of Kellogg's Rice Krispies cereal has antioxidants and nutrients that help support your child's immune system.
For decades, massive food conglomerates like Kraft and Kellogg's have made over $1 trillion through the manipulation of food science and food scientists, and ultimately, us. And their goal is much like big tobaccos, to do and say whatever they can to get people to buy their product over and over and over again until their product is no longer a want, but a need.
To whose advantage is it to keep the public confused about what to eat? Well, obviously, it's the food industry's advantage.
Ultra-processed foods make up over half of the American diet, and do so with little scrutiny from health experts or government officials. And the food industry is terrified. Even if Americans skip one ultra-processed snack or meal a day, sales would plummet by 7%. Every 5 years, the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee meets to review the relevant research and give the American public advice about the latest nutrition science, a process food conglomerates are attempting to sabotage as we speak.
I mean, in every possible way in which they can use their money and political power to encourage people to think their products are good and are willing to help them sell their products, they're going to do that.
The evidence is grim. Ultra-processed foods are being linked in study after study to things like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Researchers are beginning to understand that many of them are functionally addictive. So who will win in this battle between big food and science? We set out to investigate. And and in the process learn the disturbing truth about how big tobacco's lies continue to make Americans sick.
When you change to Philip Morris, you'll feel better.
So what exactly are ultra-processed foods? We asked molecular biologist and nutritionist Mary Nessel.
These are foods that are industrially produced. They require machinery and they require ingredients that you don't have access to. So industrially produced, designed to be irresistibly delicious. That's their purpose. Corn on the cob is unprocessed. Canned corn, frozen corn are processed. Doritos are ultra-processed.
It's not just junk food, to be clear. Many breakfast cereals, granola, and protein bars, diet foods, frozen dinners, sauces, and yogurt fit the ultra-processed label and are implicated in causing disease.
A few years ago, I was writing about salt, and I went to the biggest companies and said, look, salt has become like this public enemy number one because of its links to heart disease, and why aren't you cutting back on your use of salt? And Kellogg's, said to me, hey, come on in, we'll show you.
That's Michael Moss, journalist and author of Hooked, a book about how food giants exploit our addictions.
And we put some saltless cornflakes in the bowl. I didn't even know cornflakes had salt, but they do. But these saltless cornflakes went in our bowl, we put some milk on it, took a bite. And before I could say anything, the chief spokeswoman for Kellogg's was sitting there with me, and she gets this look of horror on her face. And she swallows and she blurts out, metal, I taste metal, M-E-T-A-L. And I was kind of thinking the same thing, which was one of my fillings had come out and was sloshing around. And the chief technical officer sitting there too, and he's kind of in charge of all things scientific, he laughs and he goes, not all people will taste that, but one of the beautiful things about salt for us is that it will cover up some of the off-nose bad tastes that are inherent to kind of the manufacturing process. And so the reason you see so much salt, sugar, fat, and others that are problematic ingredients in these products is that the companies are using those ingredients as part of the industrial process for the manufacturing, for the shelf life, things you don't need to worry about as a home cook.
While our food environment is saturated with the salty and sugary goodness of ultra-processed food, something else is happening. We are constantly bombarded with nutritional advice about how to stay healthy, what foods can ward off cancer or diabetes, and which ones are slowly killing us. And these two realities are actually deeply related. Let's go back to 2015, when Kraft successfully marketed their singles, which cannot legally be called cheese, as a health food.
Kraft American Singles have double the calcium of many other American slices, plus vitamin D to help grow strong bones.
In 2015, Kraft teamed up with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, it's a professional group of nutritionists and dietitians, in a campaign called Kids Eat Right.
But what if a company wants the positive PR of going healthy, but doesn't want the hassle of actually improving their product? Well, there's a solution for them too.
We do want to move now to a new Kids Eat Right label that will soon be appearing on Kraft singles.
One of the things that food companies do is they partner with health organizations, the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Association, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And the idea is if you can donate to those organizations and support those organizations, then the organizations will thank you on their products. And they will say, a partner of, or whatever, and this makes it look like it's an endorsement of the products.
As researchers begin to understand the real effects of ultra-processed food on our health, food companies continue to exhaust every option to make sure the science of their foods doesn't hurt their bottom line. Sound familiar?
Tobacco companies had a big problem. More than 50, 70 years ago, there was research coming out that linked cigarette smoking to lung cancer. So the first thing they did was to cast doubt on the research. Not enough people in the trial, wasn't adequately controlled, could have been due to other problems.
When it comes to ultra-processed food, the industry is stacking panels and writing op-eds doing just that. Ultra-processed foods are too broad a category, they say. People might accidentally forego a healthy food that fits the bill. And listen, there's good scientific questions around the ultra-processed label, fringe cases and exceptions to the rule, for instance. But food companies aren't trying to further the science, they're trying to torpedo it.
So, number one, cast doubt on the research. Number two, cast doubt on the researchers. Then you buy your own researchers. You recruit researchers to do their own studies, and you give them a lot of money to do that.
And here lies the tactic behind not just the fight over ultra-processed food, but all of the confusing nutritional advice we get exposed to through the media. Is the problem with childhood nutrition that they don't receive enough vitamin D or calcium? Kraft sure thinks so. Is exercise more important than diet for weight loss? I sure don't know. But Coca-Cola funded a bunch of studies that say so, just in case you thought about cutting back on soda. Food companies and their trade associations literally flood the academic space with money. Ever heard that people who eat breakfast are healthier than those that don't? Those were studies sponsored by Kellogg's and other breakfast food manufacturers.
It's the food industry's advantage to keep the public confused.
We can actually quantify how corrupt funding from corporations and trade groups can be. One review looked at industry-funded studies and found that 60% showed results favorable to the sponsor. That doesn't seem so bad, except that only 3% came to an unfavorable conclusion. The Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee should, in theory, cut through all of that noise and give the American public good, scientific information so that they can make their own decisions. But 9 of the 20 members of the committee had some conflict of interest with food, pharmaceutical, or weight loss companies.
The food industry doesn't want any suggestion in dietary guidelines of eating less of their products. It's really simple.
Remember those oddly similar ads we played a few minutes ago? It turns out that some of the biggest food companies were owned by tobacco companies until the mid-2000s. Philip Morris owned Kraft and General Foods. R.J. Reynolds owned Nabisco, until Philip Morris eventually bought that too. So it's no wonder why the same misinformation playbook is being used. What I really wanted to know was, how far do the similarities go? Did the execs at Philip Morris coach Kraft on how to hide the health consequences of their products? Did they go even further and actively try to get people hooked on their products?
My name is Tara Fazzino. I'm assistant professor of psychology at the University of Kansas. For a number of years now, I've studied what are called hyperpalatable foods, and they have combinations of nutrients that typically don't occur in nature, and so they tend to be really rewarding to consume in kind of an unnatural way. So we may find ourselves like continuing to eat these foods even though like we're getting physiological signals telling us, oh, please stop, we've had enough.
So peanut butter, which is almost all fat, is not hyperpalatable. But if you add the right amount of salt or sugar, it is. Like if this jar had a bunch of added sodium, or we had a Reese's peanut butter cup.
We conducted some analyses and found that the foods that were produced by tobacco-owned food companies were 29% more likely to be classified as being hyperpalatable foods relative to the same types of foods that were sold during the same period of time by companies that were not tobacco-owned.
Michael Moss described to me the moment during his research when his perspective on the addictive nature of these foods flipped. It took place during a meeting with a former Philip Morris lawyer.
Steve Parrish, the general counsel, we were sitting and chatting. And he said to me, Michael, I'm one of those lucky people who could smoke one cigarette a day, put the pack away and not have any compulsion to pull it out again until the next business meeting or the next day, whatever. But I couldn't go near a bag of our Oreo cookies for fear of losing control and eating half the bag in one setting. And it was like so revealing to me because it reinforced in me that they know. I mean, the heads of these companies don't eat their own products.
While the tobacco industry got out of the food business for the most part in the 2000s, other companies took a lesson from their success in selling these addictive foods.
They accounted for roughly 50% of the food supply in '88, and by 2018, they were, almost 69% of the food supply. So we had like a 14 percentage point increase, which was pretty dramatic. The non-tobacco-owned food companies observed the successes of the
That to me was the heavy one. Like, it's always when things get put into perspective. So let's think about people put down drug habits before snack habits. I never really even thought about it like that. A person will literally quit smoking crack, but can't put down Cheetos. That's crazy. That is crazy. Just think about that. A person will stop being a whole alcoholic, but can't get rid of their favorite snack or can't stop eating meat. That means these bad eating habits are worse than being crackheads and alcoholics. I was with this female one time. Somebody that I had been with for a nice little minute. And I was watching a video on hot Cheetos. And it was a professor in a lab coat. He took the hot Cheeto and lit it. And it didn't burn. It just kept burning. And then it got hot and he dropped it to the floor. And it sat on the floor and it just kept burning. I showed this to her because her son liked to eat hot Cheetos. The next day, we go to the store. He buy him a bag of hot Cheetos. What the? If you light it, it doesn't burn. A potato chip that's not flammable. And you're going to put that inside of your body? We don't even know what the fuck is on there to stop a potato chip from catching fire. It's a fucking Cheeto. Like, it's a fucking Cheeto. It should burn. And once we see that it doesn't, because she thought I was lying, so we tested it. Seen it with our own two eyeballs. Once you see that, how do you give that to your child? But there's the answer, because this entire time I've been wondering. And there's the answer to that question that I had from 4 or 5 years ago. About 4 years ago. The answer is hot Cheetos are more addicted than crack cocaine. So that little boy is technically a crackhead and it's not his fault. I should have been more understanding and put him in treatment or something. He's a little Cheeto crackhead. Who would have thunk? This is crazy, bro. It's crazy. Like, who's regulating a potato chip that if you set it on fire, it don't burn? That didn't have to pass no fucking FDA or something shit. Cigarettes give you cancer. If you like them, they burn. What the fuck do you like? The only thing I can think of you like don't burn is metal or some shit. Are Cheetos metal? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Oh, and then speaking of metal, that thing she said about taking the salt off the cornflakes, the frost, and that was crazy. That's crazy. They tasted metal. So it's metal in the cereal. And that was my problem. A lot of people got upset with me about this. That was my problem with Master P and Snoop. See, I be watching these sidewinders. They come at you like we doing something for the black people. And that whole we doing it for black people, that be their sales pitch. Support black people. That be the sales pitch. And it's sad that brothers in powerful places use that, so then brothers who actually need it can't use it. So, like, You see Master P and Snoop got a cereal, and they push that being black shit to you, and you feel some type of way and you want to support. But look at that bullshit ass cereal. They ain't no worse than the goddamn colonizers. This is a nigga version of Fruit Loops. So what? You got your fucking name on the box. You supposed to give us something better than what they giving us. You trying to give us the same thing they giving us, just your version. You probably got the same fucking manufacturer for all we know. Like, this be the bullshit. And then in their defense, if they hadn't tried to come out with some healthy cereal, they probably would have sold it less. Or may not even sold it at all. First thing we would have said is, look at these niggas. They should have made some Fruity Pebbles. So, I just know I ain't buying no fucking Master P and Snoop cereal. But then, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Shit just crazy how it's like once capitalism equals slavery. I just don't think, now that I think about it, it ain't no way around it. Capitalism equals slavery. Because as long as you got this free enterprise shit, then people are going to victimize others. Because as long as you find a way to make it legal, you could do anything. So it's like, once I buy a fucking okay, I won't even say once I buy. If I'm the top executive for Kellogg's, I get paid according to how much cereal I could make disappear. So it gets to a point where me caring about the actual people buying the cereal becomes less relevant than me getting the cereal off. Because if I don't get the cereal off, I don't feed my family. So then I don't even know the technical part of what's in the cereal. Don't give a shit. My job is just to sell it. The guys that's at the factory packaging it, they're complicit in this. They don't know what the fuck is in the cereal. Nobody knows. Who's to say that the fucking ingredients on the box is even the truth? So that's my point. Once you open this capitalistic fend for yourself door, you have no choice but to start victimizing each other. It's really no other way. It's gonna come to that, and it's just fucking sad. There's no way to and then okay, let's just say you come out with cereal and it's healthy, and that does well for a while, and then you have people that see how well you're doing and then say, okay, well, I could accomplish the same thing if I use such and such ingredients, which will make it taste the same, but it'll be cheaper. So now I can get off a cereal that's not yours, but tastes as good for cheaper. Eventually, I overtake the market because I'm more efficient. Doesn't necessarily mean better. So, like what McDonald's did, McDonald's came up with the drive-through. Before that, they had the girls on the roller skates bringing you your food. Then McDonald's they monopolized the game by creating a system where we can get your burgers out like that. Or you come up to the window, order it. As soon as you order it, we got it. Now, they took over the game because they were more efficient. But once that starts to take on a life of its own, you have to keep that up. Eventually, it leads to cutting corners to keep up what you started and keep the money flowing. I can't think of a way that this isn't going to happen in any of the societal necessities. And now, 50 years later, we don't know what the fuck a McDonald's burger is. All we know is no matter what brand of hamburger meat your ass buy from the grocery store, none of that shit tastes like the McDonald's burgers. So now we got two options. Either these McDonald's white dudes got access to a special kind of burger that nobody else can get, or we eating something else. Or y'all, I don't touch that shit. Because once it get to a certain point, broski, what's happening, kinfolk? Because once it get to a certain point, we don't know. For the company, their job is to mass produce at a high level. They don't have time to be concerned with us, which means at whatever point they look at the numbers and doing the right thing is fucking up their bottom line, they're going to deal with their bottom line. So now we get to a point where we start building slaughterhouses to keep up the demand of this everybody's eating fast food. So if we're getting fast food, then we need to be producing at an enormous level if we're talking about animals. Now, here's the sidebar that none of us think about. Y'all like y'all bacon, your rib tips, pork chops, your sausage links. You like all of that. And hey, you like a little hog, you like a little steak, a little rump roast. Can't nobody be mad at you. Here's one thing that everybody knows. Everybody knows about slaughterhouses. Okay. $1 million question. What do the slaughterhouses do with the animal waste? See, we're not really able to process this, but when you have a slaughterhouse and you got a couple hundred or a couple thousand animals all shitting at once, that has to go somewhere. So where do all of those big piles of shit from 300 pigs, where does that go? They put it in big ass containers. Gallons and gallons of animal waste. They put in big ass containers. And then once a month, they take it and dump it into the local water. The river, creek, whatever local water is available, they dump that waste right in the water once a month like clockwork. Now, let's think about something. We tend to simplify things. So when I said that right there, instantly you pictured a slaughterhouse dumping the waste, and you was like, ugh, that's nasty. But what you didn't picture is 50 states in America. There's a slaughterhouse in each one of them. At least one. But we know there's multiple ones in each state. Some states got 100 of them. So now, let's go back to this scenario of the gallons of waste being dumped into our rivers once a month. That's happening by hundreds of gallons every month in every state. And that's just America. Of course they do this in other countries. That's what they're doing to the water. Who would do that for a profit? To make money? Like, where does it go once you dump 50 gallons of pig shit into the river? Where does that go? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have a fucking clue. And I'm about to throw up in my throw up just trying to think about it. I don't know. And my head hurts from even bringing that shit up. But this is a reality. It's pretty fucking weird if you ask me. But here's the kicker. All of these different doctors, scientists, physicians, ecosystem specialists, and all of this shit. All of this information they got. And they reached the conclusion the smartest thing to do is allow these companies to accumulate this waste by feeding society things they don't need in the first place that aren't healthy. So on one end, we're contaminating the people. And then on the other end, we're contaminating the water system. What type of government thinks of such a thing? All while telling you to just say no to drugs. Telling you the land of the free and the home of the brave. What type of government poisons its people and its water system at the same time? And cereal for the children. The worst fucking food in existence is cereal. And it's promoted to the children. And they tell you, got milk for calcium and strong bones. Yes, we want your little human child to drink the milk of a cow because it's healthy. We don't understand why that boy is so fat and out of shape. Probably your parenting has nothing to do with the milk that he drinks every day. It's not, the issue is not that it's happening. The issue is that we have not yet wrapped our mind around the reality that it's the government that we pay taxes to who is behind the entire thing. So we are literally waking up every day going to work, going to wherever you're going to hustle, work, and bust your ass to feed your family. And while you bust your ass to feed your family, the government is going to tax every penny you make. So what's the bottom line here? Before we go, let's bottom line it real quick. You wake up every day, bust your ass, and pay your government to try and kill you. You wake up every day, bust your ass, just to pay your government to try and kill you. How about that? That's more fucked up than I knew it was going to be when I started this shit. You're paying someone to try to kill you. And the more you work and move up the economic ladder, the more you make. The more you make, the more taxes they take. So essentially what that means is the more successful you are, is the more you aid your government in being able to afford the resources to actually kill you. Yeah. On that note, I'm gonna say we're gonna start rocking on Wednesdays now. At some point, I'm either gonna start a new page or turn this page into all 30-minute videos. But shortly, pretty soon in the future, all of these videos are gonna get taken off, or either I'm gonna stop using this page, and we're gonna start doing just 30-minute joints. And moving to 2 different sites. I got 2 different sites in mind that I'm gonna spend tomorrow. I'm gonna spend my whole day tomorrow getting that together. So I'll let y'all know in Clubhouse what the 2 sites are. We're going to we definitely going to Chatter. Everybody keeps telling me about Chatter. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start with Chatter. I was headed to Fanbase. But as soon as I get ready to do Fanbase, everybody keeps talking about Chatter. So maybe we'll do both. Maybe we'll do just one. We'll see. But that's what's happening. Past that point, we headed to Clubhouse and see where that takes us. Wait, where's the let me see for a second. Where to go? How come I can't never find what I'm looking for? That's because I don't never know what the hell I'm looking for. I hear what y'all trying to say to me. Okay, where is it at? Is it right? Oh, there we go. Bow. Conscious Conspiracy Cave and Clubhouse. We on the way. Knowledge is the only real power. Information is the only real currency. But the application of both is the route to divinity. I love y'all. I'm gone.